good morning from wherever you're watching us from. This is Money Monday with me, Wambui Ngatia. Now, today I have a very interesting topic for you, so keep tuned, stay there, don't touch that dial. So share out this to your friends. We are live on Facebook, that is DGTV Kenya, and on YouTube, DGTV Kenya, and on Twitter, you can always send in your comments and what you think about the topic of the day, which I am introducing in a few minutes. That is at DGTV KE, and the SMS line to use is 0791 300 105. Now, today we're going to talk about the power of saving. So, in case you've never saved, or in case you struggle with saving, this is something that almost, like 60% of Kenyans struggle to do, saving. So I am joined by Fred Ng'ang'a, anajita kiongozi. So he's right here. He has been helping people and advising people on how to save, some of the, the strategies, the secrets. So he's right here. He will disclose to us some of the strategies. He's also a banker, so he will be able to tell us more about it. Karibu sana.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Yeah, we really appreciate.
I'm also glad to be here.
Yeah.
As we speak about the entire topic of savings.
Yeah.
That's a great challenge to most of our people.
Exactly, especially young people, you know.
Yeah.
So for somebody who is seeing you for the first time, maybe you can just introduce yourself to us, who you are, what you do. Exactly, that's your camera.
Yeah, so good morning, viewers. My name is Kiongozi Fred Ng'ang'a. I'm a banker by profession. I'm also doing entrepreneurship. I'm a CEO of One Career Ventures that deals around also money banking. We deal with a lot of agency banking and so that. And basically what I'll do on a full time is advising our people on how to save, how to invest, and also part of that's what I do on a day-to-day basis. Yeah.
Wow. So now to start it off, people have been, mostly it's a challenge to many people to save. And I have had people say that it's an attitude, it's determination. Maybe you can, first of all, I know having interacted with so many people who you have even guided on how to go about saving, why is it a challenge? Why is it a great challenge, like for people to save, whether young, whether elderly? It's such a challenge,
Yeah. So I think on savings, if I was to be asked, it is actually supposed to be part of a curriculum in our nation, and because most of us never grew up being taught, or rather being trained on how to save. And so basically among the challenges, the basic challenges is that how we are also brought up, because when you're training someone as he's young, he's able to get to cope with that training that you've done, even as he advances. So basically, in the matter of getting to train them at the beginning of their tender age, that is one of the reasons it's a challenge. Number two, it's the issue of the income. In law they say that you cannot give what you don't have. And I also want to relate that in savings, that you cannot save that you don't have. So, most of the Kenyans, and especially the young people, are struggling in terms of their income. So you'll find people with low income will tend not to also have the money to save. So it's also a big challenge to many of us, and it has also affected the culture of savings amongst our people. The other thing is about the lifestyle inflation. You find that we are living in an inflated, I would say, economy, where everything is inflated. It's the prices are very high, sort of that. So you find that even the lifestyle itself cannot allow you to do a lot of saving, because what probably you're getting is not enough. And then the other thing, last but not least, it is because we don't know how. And that is probably why we are here today,
right?
Because we want to tell our people on how they need to know to save. Because some of the people don't know to save because they actually have not, they have no idea of how they are supposed to save. And I believe that is what we are going to be looking to in details today. Yeah.
I think before we continue, we need to address the challenge of something you've just mentioned. You know, sometimes you get your salary, for example, or your wage, and then you pay your bills and things that are supposed to be taken care of financially, and you find yourself actually with a negative. So maybe you can address that and how you go about that, because I'm thinking there's somebody who is watching and is thinking, oh, okay, Sawa, yes, you've told us that is the challenge, but what can we do? You know, maybe you can address that in terms. I'm sure having been a consultant and advising people, you've had that, right? So how do you go about it?
One thing about savings that is so interesting. You know, savings has a lot to do with a lot of budgeting. And when it comes to savings, most of us, or rather most of the people, when you're not able to track your spending, like, you know, like in a weekly basis, you're able to know that on a weekly basis, I spend on this and that, or maybe on a monthly basis. So it starts on tracking your spending. So maybe if it's somebody who is salaried, you need to understand on a monthly basis, I spend this amount of money. Maybe if you use a car on traveling, maybe if you use you're paying rent. So one of the greatest milestones in overcoming that challenge of you know, you're getting money and you don't even know where it's going, it's being able to track your spending. You know, have a way of getting to know that this month I'll be spending, maybe, or rather, on a monthly basis, I spend this amount of money on this particular item. So when somebody understands that, it is one of the greatest journey towards improving his or her culture of saving. So it is very important for everyone, even to the viewers, to understand that when you're able to track that spending habit, you first of all understand that, you know, I am either living beyond my means, or I am supposed to adjust on which particular point in time.
That's quite a discipline, right?
Yeah, it calls for a lot of discipline, of course.
Wow. What if you don't have it? But you have to have it.
No, you know, it's not something inborn, of course.
Exactly.
So it is something, sometimes you have to basically train yourself, you know, or rather, you know, in Kenya, you know, there's what we call, you know, circumstances will also let you be in that manner. Because in Kenya, or rather in this world that we are living, you have to foresee things that are going to come. You know, maybe once in a while, as a young person, you might need to, like, get married. You know, once in a while, like, if you're a young person, you might also need to, like, advance your education. So it is something as young people and as our people, we must keep training ourselves. We must keep doing our best to ensure that we are having that culture of saving amongst ourselves, even in the generations to come.
Okay. Yeah. Maybe you can talk to us about, you know, long-term and short-term saving and what it means to a person and why it's important.
Great. On the terms of savings, there are basically the two terms of savings, the short term and the long term. And I'll start with the short term. What we mean by short term, it's basically when I want to save for a period that is not that long. Or rather, I'm anticipating to do something maybe so soon. And we find ourselves, and that's why we are calling more of it as it's that the short-term planning or short-term savings now falls in the form of the recurrent expenditure, because when you're able to do, like we have seen, the track your spending, you're able to have a short-term plan of savings. And nowadays in our nation, or rather in the world, there are so many forms. Like personally, like I've mentioned, I'm a banker. And it is important to understand that nowadays banks, and especially SACCOs, are also offering those short-term ways of savings. So short-term savings, and it requires you to like probably have an account, a savings account, whereby you will have a discipline of probably having some contributions either on a weekly basis. You can also discipline yourself or do on a daily basis. And then it also calls for like you've also seen people buying some small boxes and things. They want to start their savings there, and that's why I mentioned on training our young people. If you go to a bank or a SACCO today, a kid is given a small thing called a junior piggy bank, that helps the kid to keep saving. So that's all more of the short-term lending. That's you're saving basically on something you're anticipating that's going to happen so soon. On a long-term saving, on the other hand, it means that probably that person is saving for a future investment. You know, you're probably saving because you want to buy a land somewhere. You know, you want to buy maybe a car. So that calls for, you know, details in terms of how you're saving, and that calls for another now savings now in things like bonds. You know, you also get to involve yourselves in long-term things like fixed deposits, and those are some of the basic things that we are saying that rather initiate the long-term saving.
Right.
Yeah.
That answered something I wanted to ask you about the fixed deposit. So that happens when you want to invest or rather to save for the long term.
Yeah.
All right. So we're taking a short commercial break. We'll be right back. Remember to interact with me at DGTVKE. That's on Twitter. That's our Twitter handle. And our SMS line is 0791 300 105 on Facebook and YouTube, DGTV Kenya. So interact with me. Tell me what you think about saving. Do you struggle to save? Why do you? And we are here to help you. Fred is right here, and he will be able to guide you on the steps, you know, to start the baby steps to start a saving. So keep tuned. Don't touch that dial. We'll be right back.